स्वागत कैसे करें आपका, हम सब इस उलझन में हैं, शब्द नहीं बतलाने को जो भाव हमारे मन में है. A very good morning to one and all present here. I, Dr. Swati Modi, welcome Shri Rajesh Kamath sir, the chief guest for today's function, Dr. Chandani Kapadia madam, Executive Director, GLS University, Dr. Dharmesh Shah, Provost, all deans and directors of GLS University and Gujarat Law Society, faculties, participants who have come from all the corners of the country, and my dear students. We at Faculty of Business Administration realize that management and business are no longer rigid lines written in brick and mortar. They are a reflection of people and personalities. To give these shining, young, and curious personas a platform to indulge, we have been organizing our very own management fest, IMAGE, since 2002. IMAGE 2024 is the highly competitive business convention which has been designed to test the participants' competencies in all corporate fields like finance, HR, strategy, management, marketing, business law, entrepreneurship, sports management, and leadership. IMAGE 2024 aims to unite ambitious, creative, and overflowing young minds for a journey of a lifetime by fostering creativity, enrichment, and sharing of special abilities. Therefore, to celebrate this essence of community, youth, and togetherness, IMAGE 2024 is themed the Chanakya Neeti, Strategy and Leadership. चाणक्य नीति चिंतन, विचारधारा, यथार्थवाद और व्यवहारिकता की भावना का प्रतीक है. ये लोगों को जीवन एवं समाज की सच्चाइयों को स्वीकार करने एवं समझने के लिए प्रेरित करता है. 2000 वर्ष पूर्व लिखे जाने के बावजूद चाणक्य की शिक्षाएं आधुनिक युग में भी प्रासंगिक हैं तथा नेतृत्व एवं प्रबंधन से लेकर संघर्ष, समाधान और कूटनीति तक जीवन के विभिन्न पहलुओं पर लागू की जा सकती हैं. प्राचीन काल से साधक भगवान श्री गणपति का विभिन्न वेद मंत्रों से पूजन होता आया है. गणपति साक्षात परब्रह्म है. समस्त शुभ कार्यों के प्रारंभ में श्री गणेश जी का अग्र पूजन हिंदू धर्म में सुप्रसिद्ध और सर्वमान्य है. इसलिए मैं गणेश वंदना के लिए दिया जोशी को सादर आमंत्रित करती हूँ.
गणनायकाय गणदैवताय गणाध्यक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरी तनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि गानचतुराय गानप्राणाय गानान्तरात्मने गानोत्सुकाय गानमत्ताय गानोत्सुकमनसे गुरुपूजिताय गुरुदेवताय गुरुकुलत्थायिने गुरुविक्रमाय गुह्यप्रवराय गुरवे गुणगुरवे गुरुदैत्याकलक्षेत्रे गुरुधर्मसदराध्याय गुरुपुत्र परित्रेत्रे गुरुपखण्डखण्डकाय गीतसाराय गीततत्त्वाय गीतगोत्राय धीमहि गुद्धगुल्फाय गन्धमत्ताय गोजयप्रदाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरी तनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरी तनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि
Thanks, Diya. Now we would witness the making of image, which is not done overnight. It requires lot of efforts. And I take a lot of pride in sharing this information with you all, that this time this was made with the effort of 100 plus students. So let's witness the journey of image on the screen. Now, I would request Dr. Shefali Dani, ma'am, to accompany the dignitaries on stage. Mr. Rajesh Kamath, chief guest for today's function, an electronics engineer, MBA in HR, and certified by NTL and Kathleen Denmiller Institute, a certified practitioner of energy healing and Kriya Yoga. I request Dr. Shefali Dani ma'am to offer him a floral welcome. Dr. Chandani Kapadia, Executive Director, GLS University, a woman of substance, woman of power, woman of positive influence, and woman of meaning. I would request Dr. Seema Pandit to welcome Madam with a bouquet. The commencement of our gathering today is marked by a cherished tradition, the lighting of the lamp. This ritual, steeped in profound symbolism, represents our ascent from ignorance to knowledge, from confusion to clarity, and illuminating wisdom. I'm absolutely honored to invite Shri Rajesh Kamath sir, Chandani Kapadia madam, and Honorable Dean madam, Dr. Shefali Dani, to kindle the flame of enlightenment and officially inaugurate our event, IMAGE 2024.
शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणं आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणं आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते
Dr. Shefali Dani, Director and Dean of Faculty of Business Administration, a passionate teacher, endeavors to spur environment conducive to learning on campus. She works in the direction of developing professional competencies among students. She adopts holistic approach to ensure that our students have an edge over others in real life situation. In short, she strategizes the progress path of college in general and students in particular. मैडम, दुनिया के लिए आप एक महत्वपूर्ण व्यक्ति हैं, लेकिन जीएलएस परिवार के लिए आप पूरी दुनिया हैं. अब आपसे अनुरोध करूंगी कि आपके मधुर वचनों से सभागणों का स्वागत कीजिए.
Thank you, Swati ma'am, for nice words. Good morning, all of you. Honorable Shri Rajesh Kamath ji, Chief Guest of the function, our own Chandani ma'am, Executive Director of GLS University, Dr. Dharmesh Shah, Provost GLS University, all the deans, directors, my dear students and participants who have come across the India. My faculty members and my volunteers who are my backbone, without their support, it is not possible to organize this type of function at this large extent. Thank you all. And I, Dr. Shefali Dani, welcome all of you at GLS University campus, Ahmedabad. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all on the inaugural ceremony of the 24th edition of IMAGE on the theme of Chanakya Neeti, Strategy and Leadership. GLS, Gujarat Law Society, whose foundations were laid down by the Iron Men of India, Sri Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Sri Ganesh Mavlankar, the first Speaker of the Lok Sabha, Shri Kasturbai Lalbai, and Sri I. M. Nanavati Sir, the legal luminary in 1927. Today, GLS has become a synonymous with quality education in Gujarat due to exemplary vision and relentless effort of our beloved Sri Sudhin Nanavati Sir. GLS University was established as a private university by an act of Gujarat State Assembly in 2015. Faculty of Business Administration under GLS University has been grooming the future business leaders of the state through its Bachelor of Business Administration program since 1999. Education is concerned with the integrated development of the personality of an individual, which includes his physical, cultural, aesthetic, social, mental, and emotional aspects. Keeping this in mind, a management fest called IMAGE was started 24 years ago, and this tradition has carried on. IMAGE started as an intercollegiate level management competition and has today flourished to a national level fest. Students from colleges all over the country are invited for this 2-day long event wherein participants get an opportunity to reveal their hidden talents and enhance their managerial skills. Each year, we receive enthusiastic response from colleges all over the country. This time, I'm really happy to share that students from prestigious universities and colleges, including IITs, IIMs, and top B schools, have become the part of our flagship event, and the numbers are so huge that 1,900 plus participants representing 110 plus colleges applied for the first round of the event, and out of which 100 plus participants from 20 plus colleges are competing for the final rounds. This has not happened overnight. The wheel has started rolling since September 2023 with the hard work of 750 plus man hours. So I am really thankful to all my faculty members, in particular Vinita ma'am, Vrinda ma'am, Nirja ma'am, and all my faculty members with their volunteers. This is not possible. I am witness that they have worked day and night to make this event successful. Thank you all. Intellectual managerial competitions like Financially Forward, Business Plan, Leading Edge, HR 360, and interestingly, non-managerial events like Moneyball, exhibition, and cultural gala nights attract the young minds to showcase their inventiveness, time management, mental agility, thoughtfulness, and synergy. Really feel so blessed and privileged to see the level of zeal and enthusiasm in the students. Every year, we keep different themes in IMAGE. In continuance of the trend, this year the theme Chanakya Neeti, Strategy and Leadership. Chanakya Neeti presents a set of ethical and practical principles for living a balanced and successful life. This aphorism touch upon a wide range of subjects, including leadership, ethics, personal conduct, and interpersonal relationships. Many of these aphorisms continue to resonate with people seeking guidance for personal and professional growth. A strong foundation is a key to any successful business. Your vision, your commitment, your purpose all forms the all-important pillars of an organization, the most essential part of any building. In Chanakya's groundbreaking Arthashastra, Chanakya lists the 7 pillars of an organization: Amatya, Swami, Janpada, Kosha, Durga, Mitra iti, Pratikriya, and Danda. While for leadership and strategic lessons that modern leaders, entrepreneurs, and Gen Z can imbibe from Chanakya Neeti to navigate the complexities of today's world. Chanakya's Neeti provides a rich tapestry of leadership wisdom that is remarkably applicable to the challenges faced by the leaders in today's dynamic and complex world. His technique emphasizes the importance of strategic adaptability, inclusive decision making, team building, ethical leadership, effective communication, and continuous learning. As modern leaders strive to navigate the intricacies of their roles, embracing these timeless lessons can guide them towards success, just as they have done for leaders throughout history. चाणक्य कहते हैं कि एक अच्छा लीडर, एक आम व्यक्ति भी अपनी खूबियों से महानता प्राप्त करता है, न कि ऊंचे पद पर कब्जा हासिल करने से। जैसे भवन की छत पे बैठ के कौवा गरुड़ नहीं हो जाता, उसी प्रकार ऊंचे स्थान पर विराजमान और धनवान होने से व्यक्ति महान नहीं बनता। That's why he always suggested to have a guide, a mentor, or a teacher in life, though you are running a startup. He was a kingmaker. He made Chanakya Gupta Maurya the king, and he himself chose to be his Rajya Guru, that is advisor. Lastly, a beautiful quote given by him and suitable for you all. तुम समय को रोक नहीं सकते, तुम समय को रोक नहीं सकते, परंतु समय को बर्बाद न करना सदैव तुम्हारे नियंत्रण में ही है. So before I sign off, I wish you all the very best for this continuous journey of learning and lifelong association with Faculty of Business Administration, GLS University. Thank you all. And welcome all the participants who have come from Madras, Delhi, and Bangalore and various parts of country and enjoy the city of Ahmedabad. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Shri Rajesh Kamath, sir, is a consultant, facilitator, coach, teacher, author, and speaker, wherein his purpose is to apply principles from Kautilya's Arthashastra and other eternal texts to modern business, education, and society at large. He is known for combining the best of Western and Indian management science to provide leadership, consulting, coaching, and learning solutions to the industry. His purpose is Uttishth Bharat, to contribute to making eternal Indian wisdom accessible to people in business, education, society, and public leadership. He founded Chanakya Consulting Insights and co-founded Chiranjeev Gurukul, another institution developing holistic leaders. He has led several hundred learning interventions, training programs, workshops, and the like for over 15 years for organizations in every industry segment. He has enjoyed working in large business houses, including the Mahindra Group, consulting, and not-for-profit organizations. For over 20 years, he teaches at various B schools across the country. He was instrumental in setting up both Vriksha, the Leadership Development Center of the Mahindra Group, which continues to be one of the premier leadership institutions in the country. He has published many papers, and his case study is based on his work is available on Harvard Business Publishing. These lines in Hindi describe Shri Rajesh Kamath sir very well. प्रेरणादायक, रचनात्मक और धैर्यशील जिनकी जीवन शैली है, प्रामाणिकता, उदारवादी और परिपक्वता, विवेकपूर्ण, सामर्थ्यशाली, उद्यमशीलता और न्यायशीलता, विनम्र, प्रभावशाली जिनका व्यक्तित्व है. With these words, I would like to invite you, sir, to address the gathering.
चलिए, आपने चाणक्य और अर्थशास्त्र, चाणक्य नीति के बारे में इतना कुछ सुना. Okay, so I don't even know now whether you need more on this, but I'm going to clarify a few misconceptions. क्योंकि I'll keep moving around. Please don't expect me to be over there, क्योंकि मैं speaker नहीं हूँ. I'm a trainer, facilitator, teacher. You heard all of that. Most of all, I'm a storyteller. तो आपको कुछ कहानियाँ सुनाऊंगा चाणक्य के बारे में, और उसके साथ साथ what business lessons do we draw from it? Because I heard you are all business students, all right? But I'm going to start with giving all of you a big round of applause because you're the future of Bharat. Clap for all of you who turned up here. काफी देर तक ये presentation आ ही नहीं रहा था. Okay, we were struggling with technology. And I believe it's because Acharya Chanakya did not want a PPT, because he wouldn't use one. Okay, सबसे पहले, so I'll come to this deck. It's just for support. I'm going to share more of my experiences and what I think you ought to know. So सबसे पहले we'll start with asking, ये क्या है? You can see it, doesn't matter where you are, you know what this is. ये तिरंगा है. तिरंगा के बीच में क्या है? तिरंगे के बीच में अशोक चक्र. और अशोक चक्र कहां से आया, किस राजा से आया या किस व्यक्ति से आया? सम्राट अशोक. Yes. और सम्राट अशोक was whose son or whose grandson? Chandragupta Maurya, right? Very, very limited responses. I hope the rest of you also know this. और चंद्रगुप्त मौर्य किस गुरु के वजह से राजा बने, सम्राट बने? You see the connection कि आज हम भारत में हैं और तिरंगे की तरफ हम वंदन करते हैं. Hopefully not just on 2 days. I know we also have it at the end of today. लेकिन इसका क्या महत्व है और चाणक्य से क्या कनेक्शन है, ये जानना बहुत जरूरी है. So why did the Ashok Chakra even come over there? Any idea? Why was the Ashok Chakra selected to be at the center of the Tiranga, which is our national flag? What does it stand for? What does it represent? All citizens of Bharat, right? I heard from various states. ठीक है, let me give you a clue. How many spokes are there in the Ashok Chakra? 24. Okay. और ये 24 जो spokes है, what do they stand for? 24 states of India. What happened to the remaining? Anyways, keep trying. Or 24 hours. Okay, that's one. Or sorry? All right, it shows movement of time of 24 hours, Chakravarti, or kuch. Right? Do you see my objective here is not to show you what you don't know, but to tell us that we live in ignorance about Bharat. We live in ignorance about our history. We live in ignorance about all that Bharat stands for. ये 24 जो spokes है, they stand for the values of Bharat. In organizations, we have vision, mission, values, business students, right? But what are the values of Bharat? Please go and study this. 24 values of the Dhamma Chakra, as was created by Ashok, Samrat Ashok. That's what they stand for. Additionally, it does stand for 24 hours. But that's a much lesser point. So all of us, that 1.4 and growing billion people of Bharat, we all have different values. But सारे जो citizens हैं भारत के, all the values combined together are enshrined in this Ashok Chakra. Okay, next time if anybody were to ask you Ashok Chakra kya hai, you should be able to say it stands for the values of the citizens of Bharat. Okay, so this is one point. So we will learn a lot today, this much I assure you. By the way, everything I share with you, I have been ignorant about all of this till 2010. So I will admit this myself. तब से मैंने शुरुआत की to study about Bharat and to study about its Shastra. Okay, now I'm going to ask you another one which is very unlikely that anybody will know the answer to. If you know, I'll be extremely impressed. किस चीज से या किन लोगों के आह्वान से कौटिल्य अर्थशास्त्र की शुरुआत होती है? जनरली जैसे हमने गणेश वंदना सुनी यहाँ पर, या कहीं कहीं पर हमको बहुत जगह पर गणेश वंदना सुनने को मिलता है, या गणेश जी को आह्वान होता है, या सरस्वती से आह्वान होता है इन मेनी ऑफ आवर स्क्रिप्चर्स. व्हाट डज कौटिल्य स्टार्ट विद? एंड दैट बेग्स द क्वेश्चन, हु इज कौटिल्य? आई थॉट इट इज चाणक्य नीति. सो कौटिल्य कौन है? The same person. Okay, good. So I hear a lot coming from here. Fantastic. Who's that person who is responding to all of this? Fantastic. Can we clap for her? Very good. So Kautilya is another name for Chanakya. So what is the invocation at the start of the Arthashastra? Okay, I will give it to you. It says, Om Namo Brihaspati Shukra Abhyam. I'll repeat. Om Namaha Shukra Brihaspati Abhyam. So instead of taking the names of Ganesh ji or any other divine, he takes the name of Shukracharya and Brihaspati. And who are these? Yeah, anyone? Come on, someone from this side now. You know this. Shukracharya kaun the? Yes. So, yeah. So more specifically, Asuron ke guru the. All right? When we say Danav, Danav represents both Rakshas and Asur. There is a difference. All right? We may not know this, but that's fine. Asuron ke guru the, Asuron ke acharya the. Or Brihaspati, Devon ke acharya the. So why would he invoke the gurus of the Asurs? ठीक है, Devon ke still you can understand. वाह, क्या बात है. Can we clap for him? Can you give him a mic, please? नहीं तो सुनने को नहीं आएगा. Can you just take this to him, please? I'm sorry, ma'am, you have to do it. Come a little closer, sir. I hope it's working. On है? Oh. You take this. It's okay. नहीं सुनाई नहीं देगा, sir. आप please ये लीजिए. ये सुनना बहुत जरूरी है.
Because for a business, we have to understand both the aspects, plus and minus both. Then only we can develop strategy.
Okay, all right, so I'll give you 3 reasons. One is what sir said, and thank you very much, that we have to learn both aspects. Not everything about business is only the good ones. You also need to know what are the not so desirable ones. Not to indulge in them, but to know what happens. But I want to clarify to you 2 more things. One is that both were acharyas, teachers. And most of all, Chanakya was an acharya, a teacher, a guru. While there's a difference between the two, but I will use the word synonymously. So he is giving respect, salutations, reverence to 2 of the earliest teachers of the universe. Okay, kya hai ye Dev Asur? I will also tell you that. Because we may say Dev or Asur, isn't that mythology? I will tell you that in Bharat, as I mentioned earlier, there's so much that we do not know, but there is so much that is available. The gap between what's available and the gap between what we know today is humongous. Okay, lekin kuch clarify karenge and then we'll come to this. Okay, don't worry about the deck, this you will get. So we'll come to that. So the other thing that is represented by Shukra and Brihaspati are 2 sides of the brain, my dear friends. So Shukra represents intelligence. Shukra represents creativity and emotional side of the brain, and Brihaspati represents the intelligence or the rational side of the brain. Right? We think, Haji. Thank you. So we think it's only now, I think it was a gentleman called Sperry, Roger Sperry, who came up with the discovery that the brain has got 4 quadrants and especially 2 hemispheres called the left and right hemisphere. Bharat has known it for 10,000 years, my dear friends. Shukra, I'll repeat that. Shukra stands for the right-hand side of the brain. It represents emotions, it represents creativity, and all that comes in that hemisphere. And Brihaspati represents intelligence, Brihaspati represents logic, Brihaspati represents everything that is there in the left hemisphere of the brain. So Chanakya is saying, oh leader, because the entire Arthashastra is addressed for the leaders. And he's saying, oh leader, you cannot operate from just one side of the brain. Intelligence is not enough. That's why we speak about emotional intelligence. And nor is emotions enough, because you also need intelligence. You need logic. You need rationality. You need analysis. तो दोनों चीजें चाहिए. इसके लिए चाणक्य सबसे पहले इन दोनों का आह्वान करते हैं to tell the leader that let's remember these 2 early acharyas, but I also urge you, dear leaders, to use both sides of the brain. Because in education in general, in modern times, by the way, there has been a heavier focus on the left-hand side of the brain. But I'm very delighted to see, I know so many of the students of GLS actually created a lot of the stuff that I saw outside on the way coming in here. Very, very creative, very beautiful. I think, business fairs and festivals in general are so important and valuable. And I commend you all for making this possible and inviting people across the country. It reminds me of the various business fests that I was responsible for, college fests in general. I studied in Mumbai, so my earliest memories go back to Malhar, which used to be of St. Xavier's College, the most well-attended one. Uske baad, I was in engineering in Pune, in Bharati Vidyapeeth, where I was one of the organizers. And then also participated in college fest in InSync, which was organized by Ferguson College, which was again one of the most well-attended. So, sare memories aa gaye. So, thanks so much for this opportunity. Okay, now let's come to the term Chanakya Neeti. So, I'm sure when we say Chanakya Neeti, a large number of people think everything that goes wrong or is, very shady, unscrupulous in nature is Chanakya Neeti. All right? Very, very common understanding of this. All of this is only part of Kootaniti, which ma'am mentioned. And Kootaniti is just about 2% of the entire body of knowledge that Acharya Chanakya provides us. So we couldn't be further from the truth. And I'm going to show you some of the things that Acharya has taught us. So please know this. Acharya Chanakya doesn't represent Kootaniti. It's a very, very small portion. It is all modern day creation. मुझे भी यही लगता था. Because the majority of us, what do we read about Chanakya? We buy, and I always say this, हर रेलवे स्टेशन पे आपको वो तभी उन दिनों में 80 रुपए में मिलता था मनोज पब्लिकेशन चाणक्य नीति. Okay, that becomes everyone's source of Chanakya. Guess what? It is the poorest translation of Chanakya that you can ever get in the whole world. I had not studied Sanskrit in school, college, anytime. But जब मैं अर्थशास्त्र पढ़ने लगा in its English translation, I constantly felt there is something that is missing. उसके बाद मैं संस्कृत सीखने लगा. So if you have to, so that's one more thing I want to tell you. Okay, in the future, you may not come to it immediately. But if you want to read any Shastra in Bharat, please read it in Sanskrit. Alongside, you can study the translation in English. Otherwise, we'll get all the wrong meanings. Okay, now, 2 more things before we get on with this deck. Acharya Chanakya was born as Vishnugupta. That's his given name. After that, he got to be called Chanakya because his father's name was, yes ma'am, Chanak. Chanak was the name of his father. तो पिता या माता के नाम से अक्सर लोग जाने जाते थे. That's why Chanakya. You should know this. And Kautilya does not come from Kootaniti or Kutil. So please know this. Everyone who is here today, you have to record this in your mind. It comes from a Gotra called Kautil. I repeat, it comes from a Gotra called Kautil. And Gotra is not a Hindu term. Gotra is a gene pool. So जब हम genetics बोलते हैं, neurosciences बोलते हैं, cognitive sciences बोलते हैं, so we feel very big. Boss, all of this has existed in Bharat since time immemorial. Kautil is only a gene pool. And since he belonged to that gene pool, it's like belonging to a kula, your family, your ancestral lineage. Hence he was called Kautilya. Kautilya became his scholarly name. Chanakya was his lay person name. And Vishnugupta was the name with which family and friends called him. Is this clear? So three names all mean the same. Shall we repeat it? Vishnugupta, second, Chanakya, and third, Kautilya. They all mean the same person. If by chance someone tells you, Vishnu Sharma bhi usi ka naam hai na? Nahi hai. Okay? So many confused. I'm here also to clarify misconceptions because people feel Vishnu Sharma, Pandit Vishnu Sharma, जिसने पंचतंत्रा लिखी थी, वही चाणक्य है. Not so. Pandit Vishnu Sharma comes at least 300, 400 years later. So they are not the same person. Okay, so let's get on with this. Chanakya on leadership and strategy. और बहुत सारे clarifications भी यहाँ पर होंगे. So we'll get on with this. Okay, so I've covered the first two things already. It is only a coincidence that these figures look very similar to the image of Chanakya I saw outside. Okay, I had no clue that something similar was posed outside. अभी आपको एक चीज बताना चाहता हूं. I'm presuming majority over here are in business management, whether BBA students, MBA students, doesn't matter. Even if you are not, it doesn't matter. Do you know your entire curriculum can be based on Arthashastra? 100%. In fact, I can tell you this, that our entire education system, first to any level, can be replaced by Arthashastra. Because the Kautilya Arthashastra is the largest leadership manual, the largest management manual in the world, my dear friends. और ये पता चलने को कितना समय गया? ये 35 साल तक I didn't know this. और अभी भी भारत में I think 99.9% people don't know this. And now also we suffer from thinking that, you know, the Arthashastra is a work of a Hindu person. Folks, Chanakya was the most secular individual on the planet at that point in time. So we have to get to it. It belongs to India, it belongs to the world. And Arthashastra should become a part of your life. And I'm going to show you some glimpses which will convince you. So I try and live as much of my life in conjunction with, in alignment with what I learned and continue to learn. Okay, I study from the Arthashastra daily. I'm telling you this because I never studied in college. Okay? Because I didn't enjoy any of it. So I started my studies, and this is not to say you mustn't, please. I'm just giving an honest confession. मैं बहुत बोर होता था. I was an excellent student in school and junior college, but through my engineering, I would say I meandered through. बहुत बोर हुआ. I just about managed to get through. And same for my MBA. I enjoyed very little of it. But जब मुझे अर्थशास्त्र मिला, I said, why the hell isn't this there? Thank God for it. Because now every day is such a pleasure studying it. I'm going to give you a few glimpses. Now, please note, I am saying more and more Kautilya Arthashastra rather than Chanakya Neeti. इसका एक बहुत बड़ा कारण है, but we will cover that a little later. Yes, so all of you or majority of you have now figured the connection between these two. पर एक clarification मैं करना चाहता हूं कि इसके पीछे there is a lot of effort, endless amount of effort, my dear friends, in making this happen. So let's go back to the story of how this happened. So first I want to tell you, around 300 BC, Bharat wasn't Bharat as we know it now. 16 राज्य थे, हर एक का राजा था, लेकिन हर राजा अपना अपना राज्य संभालता था. However, these 16 states or these 16 kingdoms, they had a common culture. एक संस्कृति थी. So they existed as a landmass loosely referred to as a Bharat. Okay, uska bhi karan hai why Bharat and all of that you must study, or another session in the future on why Bharat. Okay, so it existed. At that very point in time, Alexander of Macedon started conquering the parts of the world which he could. Please note, we call him Alexander the Great, but I will show you in a while today that we have glorified barbarians, but we have forgotten what makes the values of Bharat. Once again, I will say it. Without a doubt, Alexander was a phenomenal commander, a great strategist, but not a leader. इसमें बहुत फर्क है इन दो चीजों में. You can be fantastic at one skill. You can be phenomenal at a few skills, but that doesn't automatically make you a leader. You can't say Ashok the Great and Alexander the Great in the same breath. These two things mean very different things. Okay, so going back, 16 राज्य थे, हर एक का राजा था, और हर राज्य हर राजा अपना अपना राज्य बढ़ाना चाहता था. Okay, enter Alexander, because Alexander of Macedon was a part of Greece then. वहां से शुरुआत हुई. He conquered the rest of Greece. Then he moved eastwards on the basis of his martial abilities, which he was fantastic at. He conquered at least two great kingdoms of those times. Two great cultures, two great nations. One was Egypt, and the second was Persia, modern day Iran. Nowhere close to it though, very, very different. But Persia and Egypt both were captured. और उसके बाद he continued moving eastwards. क्योंकि आगे आने वाला था भारत, सोने की चिड़िया, है ना? And he just entered Bharat. Bharat at that point in time, as you know, at least geographically, also contained large parts of Pakistan and Afghanistan. And that was very tough terrain. So to advance in those days on horseback would take a long time. Acharya Chanakya at that point in time was a teacher at Takshashila. Okay, this is a much longer story. I'm giving you a shorter version of it. Okay, I wish I could start from Chanakya's childhood, but I won't go there. So he was a teacher in Takshashila. Takshashila ab kahan aata hai, anyone? Pakistan mein. Sadly, Takshashila is part of Pakistan today and very, very neglected. But that's okay. Maybe one day, Takshashila will come back to Bharat. So it deserves to be the first global university, way, way beyond what the likes of Harvard, Michigan, etc. are today. All right? So Takshashila mein Chanakya Acharya the. And at that point in time, and I'm making this purposely a visual this for you, a student would have come to him and said, Acharya, बहुत बुरी खबर है. भारत पर आक्रमण हुआ है. Alexander, as it was referred to, ने भारत पर आक्रमण कर दिया है. And I say, in modern times, it is likely that the faculty would say, get back to your class and study. Don't give me all this nonsense. All right? But Acharya Chanakya said, what? If this has happened, we must take it extremely seriously. Okay, I want to tell you, please understand this. A teacher needn't have got into any of these matters because this was all political or to do with a king, to do with leadership, to do with military. Acharya kya karega usme? But you know what Acharya said. And if you wish, you can, note this, memorize this. I say Acharya would have said, I'm going to use my two hands, so I'm keeping this down momentarily. Acharya says, if anyone can do it, it has to be me. So I'm telling you what these 10 fingers stand for. Someone gave this to me about 15 years back. If it is to be, it is up to me. Okay, I'll repeat that. If it is to be, yes please. If it is to be, it is up to me. So I'm not going to leave it to anyone else. I have to take the initiative and start this. So Acharya Chanakya said, अब मैं क्या करूं? And I'm guessing, having studied Chanakya now for so many years, Acharya Chanakya would have actually felt happy. Say, happy? The country is under invasion. How could he be happy? Because he saw this as a time when the nation can be united, brought together. Because remember, 16 राज्य, खंड खंड में बटा हुआ भारत. He saw this as an opportunity because Bharat is known to unite only when enemies attack. All right, नहीं तो हम लड़ते रहते हैं. Okay, लेकिन वर्ल्ड कप के टाइम भारत पाकिस्तान का मैच चल रहा है तो everybody is there outside the showrooms watching the TV. Doesn't matter what background you belong to. Get the idea? Otherwise, we'll keep fighting between states, between faiths. Oh, how sad it is. But Acharya Chanakya knew this then. So he took this as an opportunity. I'm going to do a fast forward of this. He goes to Magad, more specifically Patliputra, corresponding to modern day Patna. Why? Because he says that Bharat has to be united under a strong military. Someone who can lead the nation with strength, with power. क्योंकि boss, वहाँ Alexander आ रहा है with 3 lakh plus people, soldiers. How do we face him? But do you know what? Dhananand was a despot, an autocrat, a dictator, and many of these things. This is not my judgment of him. This is what history says. Okay? But at the same time, he had the largest kingdom in the country, the largest military, the biggest treasury. So Chanakya said, let me go to him anyways. और उनसे अभिवादन किया that please, भारत पर आक्रमण हुआ है. And right now, Alexander is in the northwest to be specific. But it won't be too long before he attacks every single kingdom, including yours. By the way, I want to tell you a side story that Dhananand was the one who killed Acharya Chanakya's father and was responsible for the death of his mother, who was so filled with grief at the death of her husband. So all those who think that Acharya Chanakya badla le rahe the Dhananand se, please know this. He went back to the same person because he kept his personal grief aside, his personal angst aside. And he recognized the facts that if anybody can help push back Alexander or defeat Alexander, which anyways would be difficult, it can only be Dhananand, the same Dhananand. But what did Dhananand do? What did Dhananand do? Anyone? He threw him out. And he said, इसको बाहर फेंक दो. हाँ, इसकी शिखा पकड़कर उसे बाहर फेंक दो. Because Shikha, the Brahmins at that point in time, this was the sign of, their brilliance, academics, whatever you want to call it. So he says, शिखा पकड़कर बाहर फेंक दो. तो जो भी प्रतिहारी थे, the guards, they threw him out. And that is the time when Acharya Chanakya took the pledge. ये बात सबको पता है या याद है? That Acharya Chanakya अपनी शिखा खोल देते हैं, which has a lot of significance. I can't go into all of it today. But that too has a significance. And he says, जब तक धनानंद जैसे देशद्रोही राजाओं को मैं बाहर फेंक नहीं देता. You know, if you see in the serial, he says, जब तक इनका उद्धार नहीं करता, which is a double play on words. तब तक मैं आचार्य चाणक्य अपनी शिखा नहीं बांधूंगा. He takes a pledge that as long as देशद्रोही, mind you, it's not personal anger or personal revenge. Because he went over there and told him all the conditions. And told him if anybody can stop the aggression of Alexander, anybody can save Bharat, it is you. And instead, he was thrown out saying, who the hell are you to tell me? I am a great king. You are some God-forsaken teacher from wherever. You are coming and advising me. So much of arrogance. That's why Acharya Chanakya decided that. And then he went looking. He knew. Probably he would have expected this. But then he knew I have to find a suitable leader. So folks, here is where I want to bring in a very, very important aspect of leadership and management. He actually went talent spotting. All right? He went talent spotting because he wanted someone who would have the required qualities while he's working on other things. And it is said that as he was looking and looking, he arrived at a scene where he saw one young boy playing the role of a king, playing a game. And looking at him, he said, my God, what potential this kid has. ये बन सकता है भारत का सम्राट. And who was that boy? Chandragupta Maurya. By the way, I want to tell you this. Chandragupta Maurya किसी IIT, IIM या GLS से भी नहीं था. In fact, that boy had no royal blood in him. No royal blood. He was the son of a tribal chief. Son of a tribal chief. So he didn't look for, I told you right earlier, he had no distinctions in his mind, Acharya Chanakya. He had only one vision, which was Akhanda Bharat. So he didn't care whether he belonged to, whether he was a Rajkumar or whether he was the son of a tribal son. Maurya, by a lot of researchers, have been found as a family or a tribe of peacock breeders at that point in time. Mayur Maurya. But he took him under his wing and he said, I'm going to train you. He didn't tell him obviously कि मैं राजा बनाऊंगा, because I don't know. How can Acharya be so sure? But nevertheless, he took him on, and I say just for impact that he would have given him within a very short time what would be called today as an accelerated leadership program. Okay? You can call it whatever, Harvard, INSEAD, जो भी आप चाहो, उन दिनों में तक्षशिला में दिया. And at the same time, he prepared him for many practical aspects. Now you think Acharya Chanakya had so much to do because Alexander already पहुंच गया. ऐसे नहीं कि उसने warning दिया 2 साल के बाद आएगा. How much he would have had to do? So he united the nation simultaneously. He went on horseback himself and pleaded to all the rajas that please samjho, unless we unite and come together, all of us will be squashed one by one. Nobody will survive. Most of the leaders fortunately agreed. But still 2 big obstacles were there. One was Dhananand himself. Will he say, okay, I'll accept Chandragupta Maurya now? No, he's one obstacle. And on the other hand, Alexander is there. He's not gone away. So I'm going to quickly move to 2 aspects of the story. One is the retreat of Alexander's army, and the second is winning over the kingdom of Magad, and then outwitting Chandragupta's enemies. Okay, ये तीनों हम लोग will cover it very quickly, but you must know this. It was impossible to defeat Alexander. Impossible. Because it was a huge army, and they would have had the most modern equipment of those days. How do you defeat it? So here is what he did. And if you study the Arthashastra, which I'm sure some of you will in the future, and please remind me towards the end how you can study it, okay? Because through my own experiences, I've created many ways in how anybody of any age can start studying Indian wisdom and especially Arthashastra. So us par hum end ko aayenge. But you can see that Acharya was an expert in secret agents. Secret agents and spies are not the same thing. We use it interchangeably, but the term is secret agents. गूढ़ पुरुष कहते थे उन दिनों में. Using secret agents, he destroyed the morale of Alexander's army. Because the secret agents went to the enemy camps, and just visualize it. And एक-एक करके उनको सबको भड़काया कि आप 3 साल से लड़ रहे हो. You are doing a job working 24/7 for 3 years. Your leader doesn't care for you. You have got no comp off, no extra reward, nothing. And do you want to still continue to fight? Do you know Bharat mein there are so many strong kings that you will get crushed by them? In this way, their minds were continuously poisoned, my dear friends. But by secret agents. Secret agents pose becoming one of them or one of those citizens over there itself. There are 3 chapters on this. You can read it in the Arthashastra. Study it rather one day. So gradually, his entire army turned against him. They all protested, and I'm not saying this. History says this. Please study your history. And the Greeks themselves have written. There's an author called Arrian, A-R-R-I-A-N, and Megasthenes, but Megasthenes has not written on this aspect. So Arrian has written that the entire army stood up in revolt. And they said, Alexander, we can't march ahead anymore. We want to go back to our families. So Alexander would have given a great pep talk saying that this is the final frontier. भारत एक बार हमने हमारे हाथ में आ गया, फिर हम वापस जाएंगे. This will look very good on your biodatas. Please don't go back. But none of them agreed. So friends, the only place where Alexander could not move on further, he had conquered a couple of kingdoms, all right, which if we have a reference in the future, we'll come to, including the famous one which we refer to as Porus. It wasn't Porus, okay? It is called Parvateshwar. Greeks ने Porus बोल दिया, हमने भी history books में Porus डाल दिया. Porus is a corruption. But he had won only a couple of kingdoms. But now the army protested. And no matter how hard Alexander tried, they refused. So the entire army had to go back with Alexander leading them. Imagine what a stroke of genius. But Alexander said, I will still leave behind my best general. So he left behind a gentleman called Seleucus Nicator. Seleucus Nicator was left in what would be called as some parts of, Pakistan, now modern day Pakistan over there, to look after those areas which were already conquered and to try and expand. But Alexander went back. You imagine such a conqueror, and he was a barbarian at the bare minimum, okay? So let not glorify these guys. Recognize the positives, but don't forget, the injustice that has been done. Anyway, that we will leave aside right now. Alexander was demoralized in his mind. You think, because itna rajya humne conquer kiye, lekin Bharat mein my own army, they mutinied against me, they revolted against me. So with this demoralization, he started going back, he contracted a disease, and he died in Babylon. Babylon corresponds to modern day Baghdad in Iraq. He never reached back Greece, my dear friend. Never. But how much of this do we know? And this is thanks to the brilliance of Acharya Chanakya. Now, this is the first part. So one part of that story. So Alexander's army could not, otherwise, to our list of British, Portuguese, French, Dutch, Greeks also would have got added. But they never conquered Bharat. Okay, only portions of it, which Chandragupta later won over. Second part, अभी मगध को कैसे जीते? Now it so happened, and I'm again going to make this, tell you in a jiffy, so you'll have to get the essence of it. Magad was ruled by that Dhananand. Now Dhananand was an Ayyash. Ayyashi was his nature. He had got that kingdom from his father. It's a different thing. Even his father had won this in a very, different way. It was grabbed by deceit rather than conquest. But wo alag baat hai. But at least his father was a good governance, good leader. But Dhananand was an Ayyash. So Hamesha he was intoxicated. One could imagine that his people himself disliked him. But he had a great prime minister because of which wo sara rajya chalta tha. All right. Now how do you finish such a guy? You use this Ayyashi against him. Once again, secret agent, woman secret agent. Have you heard of something called honey trap in modern times? सबको पता है. Wow. Modern सब हमको पता है. So he used the honey trap against the king, and Dhananand was finished. Many perhaps exaggerations of it say that he and his 7 brothers all were finished in a single night, all poisoned. But you know what? The citizens were happy because citizens had already suffered under Dhananand and his Ayyashi and his taxes and many other negative measures. So people are always happy to throw out a, autocratic leader, a tyrannical leader. That's how Magad was won over. And mind you, Chanakya was born in Patliputra. So he knew exactly everything about the culture there, the people there, the language there. It was his home. So he could easily convince and win over the people over there. Second part. Third. Okay, now Acharya Chanakya. This is the third part, and we'll go on for another 15 minutes, my dear friends. See, I can go on full day. I love this story. I've learned so much from it. But I want you to get at least few aspects. Okay, so conscious of your time, the 15 minutes will go on. Third one. Now here you will see how Acharya Chanakya was always thinking ahead. Not for today. Now, Chandragupta was made the Samrat of Akhanda Bharat. All right, all the efforts were on. Alexander thrown out with whatever I told you. Dhananand's life ended. Now it was much easier. People were united. The kingdoms, majority of the kingdoms were brought together. Abhi simple lag raha hai, but at that point in time it would have been such a challenge. But now mind you, jo prime minister tha Dhananand ka, is not going to sit silently and say, okay yaar, mere leader ko maar diya, chalo yaar abhi chhod do. In fact, he wanted to ensure that he too kills Chandragupta Maurya and Chanakya. So here is the story of what happened. He made, by the way, umpteen attempts. Every attempt was foiled by Chandragupta and Chanakya, especially Chanakya's mindset. Here is just one example I am telling you. So Chandragupta के लिए एक नया महल बनाया गया, right? For his Rajyabhishek, he would be crowned, and then he would take, his position, his role in that new palace. So बहुत अच्छा महल बना, बहुत सुंदर महल बना, और राज्याभिषेक होने ही वाला था. So the previous day, Chanakya tells him, like as if it's a brainwave, let's go and do a recce of that place. So Chandragupta says, लेकिन मैंने तो देखा है. I have seen it many times during its construction. So why now? Acharya says, nothing doing. You are coming with me right now. Finally, uska guru hai. He can't say no. So he goes along. When they go over there, mind you, the next day is going to open. And the grand ceremony of his Rajyabhishek. Chandragupta is looking at the splendor of the palace. बहुत ही सुंदर बना था. You can imagine how opulent it would have been. But Chanakya is looking for something else. And when Chanakya gets that sign of something else, he tells, he has got the commander also with him. He says, Senapati, jala do is mahal ko. So Chandragupta says, what? Acharya? अभी कल तो राज्याभिषेक होने वाला है यहाँ पर, इतना सुंदर महल है. He must be thinking my guru's gone senile. Right? But Chandragupta says, so Chanakya says, I can't explain to you now. You have to burn it at this moment. And that's what the commander does, because nobody questioned Acharya's intent, nobody questioned his decisions. And that palace was burnt, and thousands of enemy soldiers were charred in that fire. तो वो enemies आए कहाँ से? And how did Acharya find out? Because when Acharya went over there, you imagine it's like coming to this entire auditorium, right? And we are saying, oh, fantastic, what facility and all of that. And Acharya is looking at some corner and he sees some ants coming out from there. And he says, नए महल में चींटियां कहाँ से आई? There is a crack in that floor and there are ants coming from there. This represents that there are going to be people over there who have been consuming food. What a thought. And he says there's no time because they are not going to be in small numbers. In fact, उन्होंने सुरंग खोद के कम से कम 1000 सैनिक थे वहां पर नीचे छुपे हुए. And the entire plan was that the next day during the Rajyabhishek, they would ambush and finish off everybody who's of any value. But they were all killed. This is Acharya's thought process. And by the way, there's a science behind it called Anvikshiki. Phenomenal science of thinking behind all of this. You can learn it. But these are the 3 stories I wanted to share with you. And now the lessons from this story. By the way, I'm going to give you another side story. That same Amatya, that same prime minister, whose name was Amatya Rakshas, his original name was Katyayan. And you can study all of this, it's all available, was made the prime minister of Chandragupta Maurya. You say, what the hell? How can he make an enemy minister the king? You know why? Because he was the most capable person in Dhananand's kingdom. Only his loyalties were messed up. Because he thought that he is the, employee of the king. No, he's working for Bharat. So Chanakya finally convinced him and said that please understand, you are not working for a dynasty. Now वो राज्य नहीं रहा, सारा अखंड भारत बना है. So you are working for the glory of Bharat. बोलो तैयार हो, you can become. And that's the moment that he said that, oh Acharya, even today you are 2 steps ahead of me. Right? You are thinking what I have not thought of. So here are the lessons, my dear friends. Relentless study of the ecosystem. Okay, I will request you to please either take mental notes. I will send you this deck. But capture this in your mind or on the phone, because this is something you cannot do without. So Acharya Chanakya continuously studied the ecosystem. Continuously. Otherwise, how would he know about Alexander? Because he had prepared people to gather information from all over. You will find all the great kings, whether of Chhatrapati Shivaji Raje, Maharaj Sayaji Rao Gaikwad, you can take any of the kings. They all did this. That's number 1. Knowing own and other strengths. खुद की क्षमता तो जाननी चाहिए, खुद की खामियां जाननी चाहिए, लेकिन आपको बाकी के competitors की भी जाननी चाहिए. So when I ask businesses, and by the way, all of which I'm sharing over here, we work with organizations to teach them how to use this. आपके अहमदाबाद में भी है, not too far from here. In fact, after this, I'm going to one of the businesses where they are using Arthashastra. So please, in your mind, know this. All of this is 100% practical. And I tell them, how much do you know your competitors? So you must know this. Second, always developing strategies to stay 2 steps ahead. That's why if you study strategy in business, I learned it the Firangi way because I learned Arthashastra much later. And the first definition of strategy that I learned is strategy is sustainable competitive advantage. These 3 words, you can remember it. If you don't know this, please put it down. Sustainable competitive advantage. Acharya Chanakya knew this from day 1. And you will find so many sutras on strategy, unlimited hai. Okay, first 3 lessons. So who is a leader? Who is a leader? Is it Alexander or is it Chandragupta Maurya? How do we answer this? We say leader is one who creates. Anyone? A leader is one who creates more leaders. So what did Alexander do? How long did it continue? You know, after Alexander died, the entire Greek empire split into 3 parts. One was Seleucus Nicator, one was Ptolemy, and a third person. और ये तीनों केवल 20 या 25 साल तक चले Alexander मरने के बाद. So what sustainability, my dear friends? 25 साल में Greek empire from its highest, it reached is nadir. Now let's look at Bharat में क्या हुआ. Chandragupta Maurya was Samrat for 35 years. And he brought the best governance to Bharat. We will see. I'll give you proof of that also. Because none of you should take my words for granted. You must study it. You must research it. You must question it. तब आपको मिलेंगे जवाब. Everything that I've told you, I have researched myself. Everything. So you will not be able to find anything wrong with whatever I've said. This is my assurance to you. There is enough data for it. Chandragupta, after he completed his kingship. By the way, he gave up his kingship voluntarily. Right? Anyone from Karnataka here? There's a place called Shravanbegola, not too far from Mysore. That has got Chandragupta Maurya's final, ashes. Because Chandragupta Maurya embraced Jainism towards the end of his kingship. And in the mode as it happens in that faith, he starved himself to death because he had given up all attachment to kingship. That is what leadership is all about. Now, I'm not saying so therefore die. Okay, that's not my point. But he gave up his attachment. But not in frustration. He handed over the reins of the kingdom to his son, Bindusar. First of all, please note, Chanakya was very much alive at that point in time. But he had no issues, Chandragupta Maurya, embracing Jainism. This should also tell you about Chanakya. Not at all someone who was so, people think a certain ideology hai, Hindu hai. Bilkul hi nahi. ठीक है? So that's one more thing. Bindusar ke baad kaun aaya? Samrat Ashok. Now Ashok was one of many children of Bindusar. Now, Bindusar, we don't know him as well as Chandragupta Maurya or Ashok, right? But what we do know is that he produced many kids, one of his achievements. Okay? But of course, he kept Bharat safe. That was more on the lighter side. But he had many children. Now, many of these children were more, what should I say, again from more royal lineage. Because Bindusar had multiple queens. And they all wanted to become king. Another few minutes, okay? Because I know your time is nearly up. I will end in 5 minutes. I'm very conscious of your time. But they all wanted the kingdom. So they all tried to take over. But Ashok was the one identified by Acharya Chanakya. He said, yehi Raja ban sakta hai. I want to tell you this. And so Samrat Ashok became the king. And the Mauryan Empire continued with Ashok for another 25 years and after that for another 25 years. After that, dynasties changed. But the governance of Bharat did not change. That means leadership of Bharat is continuous. Civilization of Bharat is continuous. Governance of Bharat is continuous. So please know, if a leader is one who creates more leaders, Alexander didn't come anywhere close to it. Chandragupta Maurya followed all the principles. Okay, so I'm going to give you just 2 things now. One is a little bit about the Arthashastra and one sutra from the Arthashastra for you to know. So Arthashastra kya hai? First of all, I want to tell you, after Acharya Chanakya did this job of creating Akhanda Bharat, he did not update his biodata and publish on social media and write his autobiography and ask for rewards. None of it. He didn't claim any reward, any self-appreciation. But what did he do? He put down all the principles of leadership in a book called the Kautilya Arthashastra. So Arthashastra is a book of governance. I'm going to come to some of this. But it was a book that was created for leaders. But at the same time, he was conscious that in society you need leadership, but you also need good citizenship. So for citizens, he wrote the Chanakya Neeti. Mind you, I say at this point in time that he was a master at all disciplines, including marketing. So he knew his segments, his demographies very well. So those in governance, Arthashastra padho. But those who are lay persons, Chanakya Neeti padho. But the author's name also different. Chanakya Neeti, Kautilya Arthashastra. Kya kiya? Branding alag alag. You see that? How brilliant the man was. So whatever we are discussing today is not Chanakya Neeti, my dear friends. All leadership principles come from the Arthashastra. Please know this. These two are not the same. Chanakya Neeti is for lay persons, which you must know, nothing wrong with it. But if you are business students, then you must know the Arthashastra. The Arthashastra kya hai? Artha over here stands for prosperity. Shastra is the science of. Shastra is not mere scriptures, not just a book on. The science of prosperity. So folks, if any of you want prosperity for you, your family, your organization, your business, your nation, what should you study? The Kautilya Arthashastra. No substitute. No book on this planet can give you this sort of knowledge. Okay, so remaining you can read on it. Basically, it covers everything: management, leadership, economics, governance, law, foreign affairs, and much more. I can tell you for sure whether it is our EM Jaishankar ji, or you can take anyone, any modern diplomats, including those in various parts of the world. अगर आपने देखा नहीं है, please read online. The American military college also teaches Arthashastra. हम नहीं सिखाते लेकिन वहाँ सिखा रहे हैं. The Russian military also uses Arthashastra. The Ukrainian foreign minister also knows Arthashastra. Why don't we know? All of what I told you, you can validate. Okay, verify it going online. You will find all this is there. तो आपको पढ़ना ही चाहिए, business students. Okay. So the holistic leader is not called a Raja. He is called the Swami. उसके लिए एक कारण है, and this is the only sutra I am covering today. Madam ने mention किया ये in her little bit of introduction to Chanakya. Here comes the sutra. And ये बहुत detailed sutra I am going to tell you in a nutshell. Swami Amatya Janpad Durga Kosha Danda Mitrani iti Prakrutayah. Prakriti means ecosystem. The ecosystem consists of 7 parts referred to as Saptanga. Sapta Anga. 7 bhag hai, 7 anga hai. You as business people should know this and change what we know as the pyramidal structure, because this structure is 6 concentric circles in the shape of a disc. Okay, this is another thing. By the way, ये मैंने online भी डाला हुआ है. You can study this. But what are these 7 that you must know? The leader, the manager. Swami is the leader. If it's a feminine, it's Swamini. Okay? So Chanakya did not distinguish. In fact, I would tell you, he even respected the third gender. The innermost circle of guards for the king were made up of the third gender. Transsexuals were the guards for Chandragupta Maurya, my dear friends. Please understand, Bharat ka jo history hai, jo background hai, you won't find it anywhere else. Because he wanted to give value to them, and he also knew what their strengths and loyalties were. Aap sochiye. Today, we talk of them as eunuchs. They have to live in slums in very, very bad states. There they had respect. Everything you will find in the Arthashastra. Swami, the leader, Amatya, the manager, Janpad is the customer. Okay, I'm going to come to just Janpad later. Durga, the infrastructure, Kosha, finances. Danda refers to the army, today's modern workforce. And Mitrani is a plural of Mitra. Mitra dost nahi hota hai. Mitra are allies. Every business has suppliers, vendors, franchisees, consultants, coaches, all of this. They are all stakeholders. They all help business happen. वो सारे मित्राणी हैं. Prakrutayah. These 7 make up the leader's sphere of influence. So what are the lessons we learn from this? Yeah, you can read that later. Here is what I want to tell you. Your organization structure should not be a pyramid. Number 1, it has to be reimagined and redesigned with the Janpad as part of it. Because we talk about customer, but you know what? Customer organization structure में आता ही नहीं है. कोई भी modern organization structure. Chanakya said, the Janpad, your customer, has to be part of your organization structure. So that's number 1. Leader is responsible not just for the organization but for the ecosystem. Leader सिर्फ अपने company के लिए नहीं है, अपने industry के लिए है, अपने society के लिए है, अपने environment के लिए है. That's the leader's responsibility. See how much modern business and modern world has suffered because the industrial revolution brought in by the West has not taught any of this. पूरा environment destroy करने के बाद now ESG, environmental, social and governance. Folks, if you go to the Arthashastra, I'm not exaggerating. I'm not saying this because I study the Arthashastra. I study the Arthashastra because I found everything in it. Everything is mentioned. That's number 2. And number 3, the leader is not who is higher in position, but higher in consciousness. Okay, so with that I will close. I have got, you can go through the rest of the slides. It's all available for you. Sirf usi ka there is elaboration. Yes. So last of all, I want to say leadership is a cycle और वो चालू रखना है, वो बनाए रखना है. Anything that ends with the leader, Acharya Chanakya says, is not a leader. It has to sustain, it has to continue. So my call to action to you, my dear friends, is you need to ask yourself, जो भी मैंने 1 घंटे में, सवा घंटे में cover किया, from that, what is something that you can start doing, applying right away? Okay, I had mentioned to you, I'll tell you how to study. If you want, you can put it down. Chanakya.1 is my website. It is not a business website. It is a website for people to learn more and more. बहुत सारे resources है, बहुत सारे सूत्र है, बहुत सारे downloads है, बहुत सारे videos है. I want to put a video of this also over there, so that students like you can go more and more and study that. That's one. What will I stop doing? Stop understanding your Bharatiya Shastra, sciences, history, everything incorrectly. Please correct your knowledge of it. We are so filled with ignorance in Bharat, I tell you, I can't believe it. We know everything about the world, but we know so little about our own nation. You will give up everything that you are doing today and go back to everything that was there in Bharat. It fills me with both excitement as well as pain. Excitement because the future is fantastic. So many of you are studying now. We have many, many youngsters. By the way, there are free sessions that I do on Arthashastra every Tuesday evening. Okay, any one person I can give the link to, you please can join. And also think what are some of the things that have served you well and you can continue doing. So 4 things I want to just close with. Dharma. Dharma is nothing but purpose. What was Chanakya's purpose? Dharma never meant religion. Never. आज हमने उसको religion बना दिया. सोचिए. Dharma means what is your purpose? What is your duty? What are your responsibilities? That's Dharma. Pulse is nothing but, if you want you can put this down, I couldn't cover this in detail. purpose, legacy, sustainability, and economic viability. These are 4 mantras of Chanakya. Purpose, legacy, sustainability, and economic viability. ये 4 अगर हुए, कोई भी बिजनेस, कोई भी राज्य, कोई भी घर अच्छी तरीके से चल सकता है. Third is Saptang, which I mentioned to you. Chatushtayam is basically the cycle of creation, consolidation, expansion, and renewal. I repeat, creation, consolidation, expansion, and renewal. Startups fail because they want to go from creation to expansion. Startups will not fail if they follow this. All organizations, whether in Bharat or overseas, family organizations have sustained over generations if they have followed this. Okay? So with that, here is my contact. I'm fastest on WhatsApp. Mail पे थोड़ा सा slow हूँ, but I can link you to the resources which are available. Okay, it is my stated purpose. I want to take all that I have learned and continue to learn about Indian wisdom to all Bharatiya in Bharat and around the world. We can create a better planet using all of this. Believe me, none of it is ideology based. None of it belongs to a certain faith. None of this belongs to an ancient time. These lessons are timeless. आप सभी को पढ़ना है, सीखना है. Make it part of your life and you will know prosperity. Dhanyawad, namaste, wish you all the best.
गौरवपूर्ण अभिव्यक्ति, प्रेरणादायक और विवेकशील उद्बोधन के लिए मैं आपका दिल से धन्यवाद करती हूँ. सर, इजाज़त चाहती हूँ कि कुछ आपकी शान में कुछ पंक्तियाँ पढूं. इजाज़त है? शिव की नगरी काशी का पंडित एक महाज्ञानी, कवि कुलगुरु काव्य कानन का उतरा एक अलौकिक प्राणी. A transformational leader, skilled lawyer, chic designer, scholar, TEDx speaker, visionary educationist, strong catalyst for women, an overachiever, seeker, and learner for life are just some of the epithets that could be used to introduce our Dr. Chandani Kapadia madam. Chandani ma'am is the executive director. She is the executive director of GLS University, the visionary leader that ideated and chartered the success path of GLS University in becoming a world-class private university, and also of its collaborations with various prominent universities across the globe. She has a long list of awards which she has been given, just to name a few. TEDx speaker, Self-Belief Can Change Your Life in April 2023. She was awarded Zee Business Elite Excellence Award. These are just only few which I am mentioning, which is in my extensive list of the recognitions that she has won. Madam, I would like to dedicate a small poem to you. Long we lift our praises for the women who have shaped the world we live in, marching in solidarity to gain their rights, always keeping freedom in their sights. Amazingly, they are never willing to give in with fortitude and stamina. They persist until the task is completed. They travail. They are to us God's extraordinary gift. When given a voice, they do not fail. So with these lines, I invite you, ma'am, for your presidential address.
Thank you, Swati. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, yes. So you are awake. Of course, with a lecture like that or with stories like that from our chief guest, Dr. Rajesh, it's absolutely, I've learned so much as well. So, of course, all of us are really enlightened. In my speech, I was going to say Chanakya Neeti, and now even I will have to, not say that anymore, and it'll have to be Kautilya. So excuse me, I take your pardon in advance if I do mention Chanakya Neeti somewhere. So first of all, thank you, Rajesh Kamath ji. आप आए, इतना कुछ हमें सिखाया. Thank you so much. आपके बाद क्या बोलें? अब बोलने के लिए कुछ बचा ही नहीं है इस टॉपिक पे. Thank you, Dr. Shefali Dani, your own Chanakya. All of us, Dr. Dharmesha, all my deans and directors are the small little Chanakyas of GLS University. And me with them. And all of us belong to this, or are followers of our own very own Chanakya, Sri Sudhir Nanavati sir, who guides us and who's our mentor. And I'm sure anyone who knows me knows what a ardent follower I am. And I think everyone sitting over here is so. So, Chanakya Neeti, strategy and leadership. Of course, the Faculty of Business Administration always comes up with these wonderful topics, which makes us also think. There is a lot that I'm going to take back from this presentation over here and rethink how we are working in GLS. We are following most of them, and things that we perhaps are not doing, we'll make sure that we are. After all, leadership and management is just not a position. It is led by example. So what exactly is this? Mr. Rajesh and I were having this little chat in the room, and I didn't know that he could speak so well, and he knew so much about Arthashastra. So I just mentioned to him, isn't Chanakya Neeti not taken in the right way by us masses or by all of us? And he said, yeah, you're absolutely right. That is what it is. And then, he goes on to explain to us that what exactly is Chanakya Neeti or what exactly is Arthashastra. It's not the bad that all of us, including me, for quite some time ago, had this notion that it's, when people play bad political games or people snatch away people's things or, stuff like that. No, it's actually good governance. It's something that is there with a purpose. Like for Chanakya, he had a purpose of being true to his nation, saving Bharat. All of us, people who do believe in this Arthashastra, have a purpose. As long as you have a purpose, that's Chanakya Neeti. I would like to talk about one story. He's told us so many stories. There is one story that I would like to talk about. It's about Akbar and Birbal. Did you know that even Birbal was the follower of Arthashastra? Right? This is of course recorded, and it's not something that I'm making up. There was a drought in Akbar's kingdom, perhaps in one of the small talukas or villages. And there was no water in the pond or the lake where the water was supplied from. So obviously Birbal and Akbar thought, what are we going to do? There is no water for the people to drink. So Birbal said, doesn't matter. He told Akbar, why don't you tell your subjects to put 1 glass of milk in the pond in the night? And he said, we want water. Why would you want to put milk? And he said, आप कर दीजिए ना, आप बोल दीजिए कि एक ग्लास दूध, एक ग्लास पानी आप सब डाल दीजिए उस पॉन्ड में. Lo and behold, in the morning, the pond was full of water. Any guesses why? Exactly. Everybody thought, in this whole huge pond of milk, what is one glass going to do? Right? So Birbal thought what other people thought. And what was the result? You got a pond, you got what you wanted, and with the help of the people and with the willingness of the people. Right? So this is what I think he has been trying to explain to us with so many, of course, the way he talks and way I talk in this small little stories that I can do. But this is what it is at the end of the day. Even when we at GLS, we try and, get the best for you. Sometimes we have to use, reverse psychology even with you students, don't we? Don't do this. Aau nahi karta. Ye mat karna. Wo hi karoge. Aisa hota hai, right? This is exactly, I'm sure all the deans and directors resonate with me. You guys will not, but the deans and directors know that this is exactly what happens. In the current day and time, we have a very modern Chanakya. Any guesses? The best that we have seen in the world so far. Absolutely. See what he's done to us. See what he's done to us Indians. Taken us from where? I have been an extensive traveler. I was not born in India. I was born in England. And when the England that was now and the England that is, it is such a huge difference, the way that time people didn't know where India was, whether in the US or, people did not know where India was. They would know, it was very strange. People knew where Bombay was, but they did not know India. And I'm telling you, it has happened to me. Are India? Where is that? Bombay? Okay, but now he's put Bharat on the map. So, our own Chanakya, he recently came up with something for you. Padhai pe charcha. Yeah? So what was that? Wasn't that this exact Arthashastra that we are saying? He put all of you together, tried to bring all of you. It was also for your parents. It wasn't only for you. Because he wants you to do what you want, not necessarily what your parents want or what is right for you. Because ultimately, if you are happy in what you are doing, then that's when you will see results, right? Chanakya wisely said, winning comes from a plan, and the key to what plan is knowledge. There is a reason that all of you are sitting here. It's not because Shefali ma'am has asked you to compulsorily sit here, but it's because you want to learn, right? So it's not a lecture. Remember, your life is not going to unfold as easily as you go into Google, type something, and it comes out. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be a unique journey for each one of you. And teachings of this Arthashastra is going to go beyond personal success to family and life. And for all the dynamic Gen Z that is sitting here, think of this as an ancient Marvel plot. The Marvel movies, yeah? All of you follow it? So let's look at that. Unexpected, engaging. It's like navigating a 4D chess game where the pieces can switch ideas. To put it in your language, Chanakya's tips and life lessons are the ultimate hacks in thriving in today's dynamic world. In fact, I understand your generation is not too thrilled. Well, I think some of you are, but a lot of you are not thrilled about learning old things that Chanakya has to say. But imagine Chanakya as a modern influencer on the YouTube with 1 billion followers. Won't you be looking at his videos? You sure will be. So instead of binge watching those videos, let's try looking at Rajesh ji's website or what, as he was saying. To gain lessons and evolve from this Arthashastra, you would have to adopt yourself in more ways than one. After all, the world is changing faster than your Instagram videos. सबके लिए जुगाड़ है. आपको अगर कोई असाइनमेंट मिलता है तो सबके लिए जुगाड़ है. AI है, Chat GPT है, everything is there. But for life, there is no जुगाड़. You will have to walk each day and make sure that you are following your heart. You're following your head at the same time you're following your heart. Like, emotional quotient, right? There is absolutely, your intelligence is not going to go anywhere until and unless it's emotional intelligence. Think of drafting as a personal Game of Thrones. Everybody enjoys Game of Thrones. Yeah? So in the end, our life is a unique saga. Drawing from my own experiences in various facets of my life, I've experienced that confidently taking the lead, making informed decisions, taking my team with me is the way forward. Chanakya's perpetual passion for knowledge and learning should be a gentle nudge for all of you that education is not confined to degrees. The reason we do seminars and events like this is so that you learn much more than what you would learn just from sitting in your classroom. A mindset of constant learning and adaptation is crucial. So gear up, embrace these teachings, integrate them into your life, and mark my words, we'll be witnessing a crop of young Chanakyas from all of you in the years to come. Quoting and modifying the famous Star Wars dialogue, "May the strategic force be with you." So, at this moment, I would like to also say that I'm really, really happy that so many of you students from across India are here. And I really welcome all of you. It gives me great pride on behalf of the management of GLS University. I hope you enjoy your 2 days over here. I'm sure you are super excited. And I would like to see how you guys rock in your Arthashastra the next 2 days that you're having 2 days, right? So enjoy your evening today. I would like to see you guys coming up with your own epic battles, wise mentors, and the lessons that you learn. Understand that what these things have just been taught by Mr. Rajesh are not just ancient stories. These are actual facts that have happened. I'm going to go and look up some of them myself. So you've got some serious inspiration today, hopefully. Once again, I would like to congratulate Dr. Shefali Dani and her team for setting up this whole event. And it's wonderful that you guys are doing such a great job. Participants, enjoy, have a fantastic one, enjoy the fun and the festivities. Thank you, have a great day.
Thank you, ma'am. No questions? Okay. With this, I would like to invite Dr. Pooja Sharma to propose vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. As William Arthur once said, feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. Honorable Chief Guest, respected Chandani ma'am, Dharmesh sir, Shefali ma'am, deans and directors of various institutions, invited guests, professors, and my dear students. I, Pooja Sharma, deem it a great honor and privilege to be the one extending the vote of thanks on this memorable occasion, the 24th edition of IMAGE. First and foremost, on behalf of our institution, Faculty of Business Administration, I extend my most sincere thanks to Almighty, making us capable to organize such a grand event. With His blessings and grace, we have been capable to make this event what it is today. It is always an honor to listen to the inspiring, stimulating, and influencing words of Mr. Rajesh Kamath. We, Faculty of Business Administration, would express a big thank you from the bottom of our heart to the chief guest and the dynamic keynote speaker, Mr. Kamath, for coming and sharing your thoughts of inspiration and motivation, which are all set to move along with us, even outside this venue, as our lifelong learnings. We would like to express our sincere gratitude to Shri Sudhi Nanavati Sir, President GLS University. Under his blessings, we all are rising. Thank you for all kindness, generosity, magnanimity, and constant support in making this event truly splendid. From the depth of our heart, we thank our Executive Director, Dr. Chandani Kapadia, for not only sparing her valuable time, but also enlightening us and sharing your views. Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming and encouraging the beautiful young minds. Ma'am, indeed, your words have inspired us. We appreciate the motivation and continuous support given by Dr. Dharmesh Shah, Provost GLS University. Thank you, sir, for always supporting and encouraging all the events that we endeavor to do. We express our sincere gratitude to the deans and directors of the different departments of GLS University for sharing resources and extending help for the execution. A big thank you to all the participating colleges and students from across the India. It is going to be a fabulous experience hosting you all. Thank you for sharing laughter and joy with us. We hope you are going to have good time with us. Wish to see you all again in the next season of IMAGE with the same enthusiasm, curiosity, and your adorable smiles. We would like to thank Mr. Shashank Shah for providing all financial support. We are thankful to the GLS Central Office for logistics support, auditorium staff, campus staff, and security staff for helping in the smooth administration of the event. We highly appreciate and acknowledge the endless efforts of Dr. Vinita Anand, the backbone of this event, who went an extra mile and made the dream into reality. We cannot forget to mention the hard work of Avid Art team who made the campus bright, splashy, eye-catching, and vibrant. The strength of the team is each individual member. The strength of each member is the team. Here, thank you to the team Faculty of Business Administration, and a big shout out to all the student coordinators and volunteers, my Black Battalion, the non-teaching staff and the faculty members for unconditional and constant support. You guys owe majority of the success of this event. Thank you is a very small word for all the respect and love that you all have showered upon your own college. Lastly, the torchbearer of the event, Dr. Shefali Dani, Dean Faculty of Business Administration. Thank you so much, ma'am, for always leading us by setting examples. Thank you for binding all of us together with lots of love, care, and respect. Also, we heartily appreciate one and all who have directly and indirectly supported us. Thank you very much. Wish you all the best and hope to see you all again soon.